It's like Unit 9. If you've ever been to Cloudwater's tap room. You could probably hear the Hoover downstairs, but... And there won't be like a relaxation tape playing in my toilet. I'll just be sat there watching and whispering crude yet inspirational quotes in your ear. I'll stop this in a few minutes. Plus, you shouldn't really be watching this stream because there is an infinitely better live stream going on, which I didn't realise was going on today, and I feel a bit of a dick by doing a live stream. But good old Thomas Opens and Harry Meadows have just done a stream, I think it's still ongoing now, looking at Feltins. I think they're having a couple of drinks. So I would highly recommend, if there is anybody watching this live, don't carry on watching. Go over there, it'll be much better. But I'd like to provide some zen for anyone who needs it. Just done a really intense hot yoga session. Went to a talk about the feminist identity within brewing culture. And yeah, like I said, trying to replicate the vibe that you get if you go visiting Cloudwater's tap room. And it'd be much better if this was not a cigarette and something else, to be quite honest. I don't even know how that's sounding coming through the microphone. It's probably going to sound absolutely awful, but such is life, my friends. Such is life. Had some really nice vegan cheese as well earlier. Good evening, Jagman. How are you doing? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Actually, it's actually adding a level to the stream that I actually had no intention of adding. I was just having a bit of a, not taking the piss out of Cloudwater, but having a bit of a jest with Cloudwater. Good evening. Today has been a day. Is that a jazzed cigarette? Nice. It's a contemplative cigarette, if you will. And also, Adam, today has indeed been a day. Which is why I thought, you know what, I'm going to have a couple of beers tonight. Probably not the best way to deal with a day, but there you go. There is There is no such a thing as good vegan cheese. Definitely not. It's just yeast. You're just eating yeast. I don't. Just eat cheese. Just eat cheese. Cheat, eat cheese. Don't eat cheat cheese. Cheat and eat cheese. That's my motto. And yeah, you'd think there'd be another song that would be playing on this, but hey ho, it is what it is. Just opening a brown ale. Very nice. Well, that's enough of that. I'm all zenned out. But yeah, good evening, or good morning, good afternoon, good early hours, whenever you're watching this on the playback. Yeah, as I said, there's a much better stream going on right now with two wonderful people, Thomas and Harry. So I wouldn't begrudge anyone going over to that stream. That Cloudwater event I went to Wednesday, had some great beer. I've just realised I've got my other phone here so I can read the comments that way without looking gormless. Well, I look gormless anyway, but... So, Cloudwater event 2 last Wednesday was great. Had some cracking beers and they said we could ask any questions, so we did. Very nice. I like those sorts of events. Were there any hard-hitting questions about business practices and certain business relationships and directions that certain brewery is going in? Well, that certain brewery is Cloudwater. I know they've become a little bit of a point of contention for a lot of people. I know I know people personally who will just refuse to drink Cloudwater now, mainly because of, it's called a spade, because of Paul, really, and some of the stuff he posts online. Yep, they was the first ones. Very nice. So it set the tone. But I hope they were transparent and... but yeah, I think that, you know, there does need to be discourse in general, really. And I've realised I'm kind of dressed like a militant feminist right now, which was not my intention. I'm not, you know, joining Antifa anytime soon. It's just got to have my window open because I had a cheeky cigarette. So, but good evening to you, Jagman, and of course to yourself, Adam. And what brown ale are you drinking, Adam? And are you drinking anything today, Jagman? So, as the title suggests, we've got 2 beers from Cloudwater, 2 double IPAs. It's my birthday weekend, so I treated myself to a little trip to Northern Beer Temple after work on the Friday. Picked some stuff up. There was a lot of Cloudwater in that purchase, I'm not going to lie. Although, I did record a video, put in these 2 beers, not head to head, because, you know, this is going to win 7 days a week, really, isn't it, when it comes to smoke beers. But yeah, Franconia from Torside. I think I've had this before, many moons ago, and really enjoyed it. And enjoyed it on my recent sort of comparison. And do you know what? They've done a damn good job with that. And it's to be expected because they're really good at smoked beers and dark imperial beers in general, really. So yeah, there was a 20 or so minute video which will probably get uploaded within the next 2 months because my uploading schedule on this has been absolutely awful. It just seems the channel just seems to have taken a massive back step. I keep saying oh, I've not lost the passion for it and blah 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 blah, which I haven't. I don't know, it's just, well, look at the last few videos, they've just got like, there's no text in the description, the title's all brief, probably loads of spell mistakes, no thumbnails. It's just one of those things, really. Neptune's Hell Cannon American Brown Ale, 5.8%. Schlenkerla mini keg back on Amazon. I did indeed see that, and that could be a potential purchase after payday. So the 2 double IPAs that I've got today, we've got, I can never tell if it's the name or the tagline sometimes. So we've got Dank is short for Danker, which is double dank, 8% ABV, as is this second one. Check out the description on the back to learn a fascinating dank fact. A double dank double IPA made with the dankest of dank hops. Dank is an abbreviation of danker, and in English it means thank goodness. These are hops that smell like armpits, cat wee, you kinda wanna drink, weed and cumin, underpinned by juicy fruit flavours. And Danker was also the kit sponsor for Everton many moons ago. And we've also got a can of Ness Atalanta, which is a double IPA, once again, 8% ABV. Motika, or Motueka, I know Adam's going to pull me up on that pronunciation. And Idaho 7, a slightly smaller version of our popular triple IPA, Vanessa Atalanta. Inspired by Vanessa Atalanta, our much loved triple IPA from late 2020. This double IPA blends the juicy stone fruit and pungent pine provided by Idaho 7 with Motueka, beautiful bright zesty lemon and lime, with the slightly older branding from Cloudwater. They're still going with the photographic labels, but they've got like a band at the top now. Let's see. So the Ness Atalanta was canned on the 27th of January this year, and Double Dank was canned on the 29th of September. So we'll see how that's aged. Let's see, I had that Ness last week, cracking. Very nice. Well, looking forward to giving these both a try. Very interested by Double Dank. Let's see how dank it really is. So, I don't have two Cloudwater glasses, even though I found out today that someone has chipped my Craftmaster Cloudwater glass, which is very annoying considering I've bought that same glass about 5 or 6 times now. And I will not be buying another one because that's why, basically. So I'm going to be using 2 track glasses, neighbours of Cloudwater, of course. So these 2 glass styles, which I'm getting really bored of, but I keep buying for some reason. Yeah, that's the birthday glass, which I'm going to put the Ness in. And this is the Craft Diaries glass, which I just love the illustration on there. And that'll be for the Double Dank. I'm probably going to keep this stream a bit brief, to be honest. I just needed a bit of a distraction, really, tonight. Birthday weekend. So on the Friday, and this is all meant with tongue-in-cheek, obviously, but on the Friday, a year closer to death, and then today, the realisation that probably going to die alone. Don't worry, it's not going to be like that. Just made the mistake of making that joke to family, and they did not take that well. Anyway, if you know me, you know I like my dark humour. But yeah, it's the thing, isn't it, really? Never really took... thank you, Jagman. Never really took Valentine's Day seriously, because it's just... Why would you need a day? Like a specific day to show your love and appreciation for, you know, your better half. So it's always been shallow. Never really celebrated it. But I don't know, it's just a bit of a weird one this year. It just became really grumpy over the weekend. And yeah, just every fucking post on Instagram is lovey-dovey. I'm not cynical, I swear, and I'm not bitter. Anyway, so the two beers in the glass then, remarkably similar. I'd say the double dank is maybe a little bit darker, but not by much. Both look really nice and creamy. Both got the same coloured head, as you would expect. In fact, they do look very similar, to be honest. Now this one looks a bit lighter. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of time. There's never going to be much in it, is there really? But yeah, looking exactly like you'd expect a Cloudwater double IPA to look like. So I'll start off with the Ness first. God, acid reflux. So let's see what we get on the nose. A little bit of pine coming through. It's got that, well, mind you, it's a little bit like that sweaty sort of fruit character. A little bit of a ripe pineapple almost. But, you know, just the usual fruits that get thrown around with these sorts of beers. Happy birthday, have you read any of the Baron stuff yet? I've had a couple of cans, did a review of one of them, which was the table beer. And then I was on Jimmy O's live stream last night. I've been going on Jimmy O's channel quite a lot actually. We may be going to London for a gig in March, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, the Baron stuff looks good. Yeah, the table beer was really nice, really flavoursome. Had a nice body for its ABV. Pale ale was just a good. Yeah, I didn't really. It was one of those ones where I was enjoying it, but wasn't taking too much notice of it because I was just drinking it whilst on a live stream. So didn't really sort of like pick it apart and that sort of stuff. But they were both good, really good. And I think I've got a double IPA and a Pilsner left. I had a considerable amount of beer on Friday because the wonderful Adam from Maze Beers dropped off some stuff, including some, a big bottle of Daya, which just completely unnecessary, my friend, but very much appreciated. And a couple of nice higher ABV top rope beers, as well as the Baron stuff and some other bits and bobs. Can't remember the brewery's name, which Harry had sent over as well. So yeah, I had a. It's amazing. I don't think I drank that much over the weekend, but the beer shelf's looking a little bit bare. Thank God I get paid next week just to have a little bit of a top up. Although I did take full advantage of Northern Beer Temple's click and collect service, because I can easily get to the bottle shop. You know, it's about 20 to 30 minute bus ride away. And yeah, it was good to catch up with John at the bottle shop. It's one of those things, isn't it? You go in there thinking, you've cut out the, have you got this beer, have you got that beer, have you got that beer? You've cut that whole thing out by ordering online, then picking it up. But you just end up chatting, don't you? Really. And on the way to Wigan, because I managed to get an hour's holiday at work, so I was there in time. My young brother was at the pub, which is on the way to Wigan, and he said, why don't you come in for a couple of birthday drinks? I was like, yeah, alright then, well, I'm just on my way to Wigan, got to pick up some beers. And when I got back, he was absolutely fucking wankered. And then I ended up having a fair few beers, came home, and I can't remember what I did after that. So that was nice, having a birthday drink with my brother, but I don't know, birthdays, they're just another day for me now. They probably have been for a while. I hate people making a fuss over me, about me. I'm not good with like events. I'm a mad arse, fundamentally. And I don't know, I was just in a bit of a, not a weird place, I think that's probably Um, what's the opposite of downplay? But it's just like, yeah, it's my birthday on the Friday and then it's Valentine's Day on the Monday, and I'm just like, I can't be arsed with it. Do you know what I mean? Um, maybe I'm a miserable old codger, as the Stranglers and George Melly once sung about. Sounds like you had a few. Yeah, I did. And had to deal with my younger brother very drunkenly and successfully flirting with a rather attractive barmaid. So that was good for the self-esteem. Anyway, evening, Jimmy. If you're doing a stream tonight, I shall probably pop on. Um, Although I'm back in the office at work tomorrow. Back in the office on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, which I think it's much better for me, because I get out of this confined space, if not for 2 days. But I hope you're doing well, Jim. And Thomas from Window Beers says, hi everyone, please like and share. Thank you. An early night tonight, sir. Sounds good, Jim. Sounds good. Don't blame me, to be honest. But thank you for that, Thomas. I wasn't shouting then. I want you to shout, sir, at me. So back to the beer in the right hand. It's sort of mellowed down a little bit. I'm getting a bit more like Tesco's orange juice. Caps lock. It smells nice. It's got a bit of like it's not like a mild aroma, but it's not like a pungent sort of in your face aroma. It smells really nice. So let's give it a taste. Cheers, all. Mm. Oh wow, that is quite pungent. Dare I say it? Maybe a little bit green. I've not had an IPA that's been green for a while. God, hot burn on the old throat there. Closest thing to throat action I'm getting tonight. But anyway, not that I'm going to be taking. Let's not get into the details. Although an ex did once ask me if she could fuck my mouth with a strap on. But yeah, that relationship did not end well. Not at all. But upon reflection, I'm not saying I would take a strap on down the back of my throat. I gagged taking a PCR test, so yeah, not happening. And why are we talking about gagging on a beer stream? I don't know. Because that's not what you want to hear, and that's definitely not a mental image that you want to see. But I kind of want to implanting. Don't talk about insertion, implanting. Let's move swiftly on. They say romance is dead as well. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, she was a strange woman, that one. Although she did have a really nice apartment in the centre of Leeds city centre, so that was really good. Facing that Weatherspoon's that's got 2 floors. I'm not doxing her. I don't want to dox her, obviously, but yeah, that was. I like that side of things. Give me a bit of that city life that I've been missing. They use strap-ons for unilateral flow tests now, sir. Do you know what? With what's been going on these past 2 years, is that outside the realms of reality? Realms of reality? That doesn't sound right. But yeah, this is it's got a lovely body to it, nice and smooth, a little bit of a creaminess. But it is probably, I don't want to say it's a bit too young, because there's so many horrible. This is a car crash, but that's what people like to see, and I like to provide car crashes for people. Yeah, that could do with being in the can for a little bit longer before opening. Um, I don't know. Did you get any of that sort of character from this when you had it at the event, Jagman? Nolan, Nolan. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I don't have a comedy cigar or a snazzy tracksuit for that, but I do almost have the hair. I bet Jimmy Savile never had to worry about a boring Valentine's Day. If the people from Cloudwater were watching this, I think I'm getting a lifetime ban from um, what's it called? Unit 9. I love you too, Jim. I love you too. But aside from that hot burn, it's not bad. To me, it's not the most flavoursome of double IPAs that I've had in a long time. I'm getting like a bit more of a herbal character to it. Was on tap. I remember it being very smooth. It is very smooth. It's the body on it is, it's what we used to sort of like hype when we had those what used to be rare occasions of like, hype American stuff, which is a little bit easier to get hold of now. Although you're paying obviously a bit more for it. Happy Valentine's Day to you too, sir. Sharing the love, that's what it's all about. But yeah, that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. It's getting a little bit sweeter as I'm drinking it. But I've had much sweeter double IPAs. But they're not really sort of like promoting it as that, are they? Definitely pine. It says zesty lemon and lime. I'd say it's more got that slight sharpness you get from lime as opposed to the citrusy zestiness from a lemon. But aside from that hot burn, remarkably smooth and hides the ABV really quite well. So now we move on to the beer that's probably interested me a little bit more um, prior to tasting, and that's the Double Dank. Double Dank, or is it Double Danker? Or Dank is short for Danker. But yeah, let's see what we get in the nose of this one. Oof. Straight away. Whoa. That smells like a triple IPA to me. I do prefer the Hummel Citra and Idaho 7 double dry hopped IPA. I think I drank my can. Hummel's one with the train carriage on the label, isn't it? I think that was the one that I just opened and drank, which I know is sacrilege to the beer tube gods to just drink and enjoy beer. Um, but I've just been enjoying just cracking open beer, not having to worry about, oh, do I have enough charge on my phone to film it? Have I got enough space? But yeah, but from what I remember, that was really nice. I think I've got maybe one or two more Cloudwater beers left, including a Baltic Porter that they've done, which I'm looking forward to. But yeah, this is sweaty, a very sweaty smelling beer. It's almost got like a bit of a soft cheese character to it. But yeah, definitely dank on the nose. Savoury, oniony, garlicky, very resinous. I mean, the way I'm describing it, it's making it sound like it's smelling awful. But if you know these sorts of like really pungent dank beers, you'll know that it's a really good aroma. Interesting, very interesting to see how that translates on the flavour. Baby Bell. Do you know, I've not had a Baby Bell for ages. Thank God we moved swiftly on from Jimmy Savile when I made that statement. But I am going to hell. If such a place exists, I think my place there has been reserved. But yeah, that smells really, really good. Let's give it a taste. Cheers, folks. Wow. Dank again. Just like the other one. Beautiful body to the beer. Too much time on my channel. I think so. I think you've figuratively rubbed off on me. Like I said, figuratively. Figuratively, not vigorously. Not yet, anyway. If you've got a place reserved in hell, reserved, that's the word I was looking for, I definitely have no chance. Well, Thomas, I'll be in good company, by the sounds of it. Grey H says, "What's this? Double IPAs on a Monday?" Yeah, it's been a Monday. It's a Valentine's Monday, so I'm getting DP'd by 2 8% double IPAs from Cloudwater. This is really good. This is really, really good. Somehow, as savoury and as dank as it is, it's a little bit fruitier than this one, the Ness Atalanta, which are also an Italian football team. Love the rough. We all love it rough. Silky smooth. And I think Thomas and Harry must have ended their stream because they've just both mentioned me in their Instagram stories. Which it means nothing if they're not going to send me a dick pic each, so, you know, it's an empty gesture, really. Almost saw Harry's penis once in a hotel room in Liverpool. But luckily I averted my eyes. I don't think he was stark bollock naked, but I'm going to stop talking about that. It's fucking strange. But you know me, inappropriate. Dark horse, well, the palest dark horse you'll probably ever meet, but yeah, this is, I've had beers that said, oh, it's a bit of a danker IPA and it's not really delivered on that front, but the double dank has double delivered. It really, really has. And again, it's got like the hop abrasiveness for me of a triple IPA. I'm not too sure what hops they've used. That's one thing. When Cloudwater always used to put whatever hops, malts, and yeast that they'd used in the beers. I mean, I know a lot of them. You get the hop profile on the brief description on the front part of the label, but I'd be very interested to know what hops are actually used in this. I wonder if Untapped will tell me that. I will get back to people's comments once I've had a look. Cloudwater. Double dank. Wonder if they've got it on their website. Maybe they tell you what the hops are. I really don't like the artwork that they've done for the. Sorry about that. But yeah, I've got to give them give Cloudwater credit on the birthday beers using a plus. Oh, look at that glass! How nice is that glass? Oops. Tubo glass is my new favourite style of glass. Good evening, Craig. Hope you're doing well. Cloudwater did say they're hoping to move into a new premises soon. I think I've heard talks about it. I think Rob's mentioned that. But yeah, I really don't like that. That's weird to me, having people's faces on a beer label, and I'm not a big fan of that. Although the birthday beers do sound good, and I was talking about, well, yeah, John from Northern Beer Temple was singing the praises of how Cloudwater are one of the few breweries who are actually doing styles like Hopfenweisses and doing them very well. Now I'm not a fan of wheat beers unless it's like a dark, unless like a Dunkel wheat beer or something like Schlenkerla, where there's something to it. A hoppy wheat beer, not the biggest fan of. Although when was it Verdant when they were first starting, they would treat their water the same to sort of replicate the water quality of a German wheat beer for their IPAs. But you know what? Fair play to Cloudwater. I know they're not everyone's cup of tea. Um, as I said, I know people who just will refuse to drink Cloudwater. You could give them, like, where everyone in the world has said this is the best beer in whatever style, and they'll still go, no, I'm not drinking it. Which, fair play. I'm not, I've never criticised people for their choices in terms of, like, ethics and morals. Two things that I know nothing about. But, yeah, it's such a shame, right? And again, I don't want to shit on Cloudwater because I think they're in the top 5 best breweries in the UK, and have been for a while. I will say though, Track for me just about overtaking Cloudwater. What I respect about Cloudwater though is just the sheer abundance of styles. Um, I mean, the lagers always been good. At one point, Cloudwater's Hellers was the best, for me, best lager you could get in the UK from a craft brewery. Of course, in recent years, there's been this sort of emergence of lager-based breweries, which I love because, lagers are my bread and butter when it comes to beer. And I know I keep talking about when I lived in Germany, but, living in Germany, being surrounded by beers that would usually cost you about £3 or £4 here, and being able to pick them up for like less than €1 locally from like a supermarket or a beer supermarket. So I don't like giving myself credit. Don't like blowing my own trumpet. If I could, I would. But when it comes to lagers, I'd like to think I know what constitutes a well brewed lager. Just because I had such a. I'm going to be pretentious and class it as an education when I was living in Germany. Because I was in Germany when the craft beer scene was just starting to bloom. Um, and even though there were technically craft breweries like what's it called? Shopper? Oh no, what's he called? Who'd been doing it since like 2011. And you look at the German brewing landscape now, you know, they've been, for me, the leaders when it comes to um, brewing. I think Germany, for me, is still the best brewing nation in the world. And it's great to see that with all of this beer heritage. I've not even had a look at this beer yet on Cloudwater. I'm going on tangents. But the brewing history and heritage of Germany, and of course they've got the purity laws in place, which does pose challenges for craft breweries who are finding ways of working around that. I think it more affects on how and where they can sell specific beers when it comes to sorry, I got distracted then because I just saw that Kate from Track had liked one of my stories, and just said that Rob joins. I think he'll understand the cultural significance of that. Have I said too much there? I don't know. She's doing a great job, by the way, with her Track's tap room. It's got to be. I mean, I thought Daya's tap room was the best tap room experience I've had. But when me and Rob, who I'll get to your comment in a second, Rob, but when me and Rob went to Track, the stars aligned because there were new releases that were just put on tap, some that we didn't even realise were actually put on tap that day. Every beer that both of us wanted to try was there to drink at our leisure, and yeah, Rob, that few hours that we spent in Track's tap room was just amazing. And like I said, I think Kate's doing a fantastic job with the tap room. Definitely a place people should go to if you're doing like a beery sort of tour around the north. I mean, Track's always going to be on your list, as is Cloudwater. And, you know, they're just a stone's throw. They're on the same industrial estate at the moment from each other. But, yeah. Can't remember. Oh, yeah, German beer. So it's great to see some really exciting German craft breweries. I mean, I would say friends of the channel, but I'm not friends of the channel. Who the fuck am I saying something like that? Friends of the channel, Yankee und Kraut. Great stuff based in Ingolstadt. You've got Frau Gruber. You've got Superfreunde in Hamburg. Definitely want to check out their premises. I love their merch. It's almost like a lifestyle brand. Now, if you look up Superfreunde, their merchandise is just absolutely spot on. You've got Sudden Death, like I said, Frau Gruber, Force Viercheck, Hopperbräu, the Spital Manufaktur range, again, Spital, a very traditional brewery based in Regensburg. They're doing some really exciting stuff. I'm not sure what they've released in recent sort of months or years, really. But yeah, Germany is a Buddelship. You know, there are so many. Hertelbräu. I'm just name dropping now for relevance. Beerlo. Would love to visit Beerlo's place. It's just like basically like shipping containers and a really nice indoor space. Stone Berlin probably had the best premises until Brewdog completely destroyed that gorgeous building with that typical Brewdog style. And Berlin is a place that I really, really need to get to at some point. I might try because I'm going to a wedding in Germany in October, so I might have an extended trip and do a little cheeky. Spend time with friends who I've not seen for 2 years because of the whole insane way the world has gone. Sneakily go to Bamberg and then catch a train over to Berlin. I probably could do Hamburg and Berlin. I'm not sure the geography of Germany really, but yeah, that might be a good, nice couple of weeks just spent in Germany. Seaside Mark, you're a fucking idiot. But anyway, let's get back to Dank is short for Danker, because I want to know what hops they've used. I mean, not gonna lie, someone could have just commented and told me what the hops are. Save me all this hassle, but I'll let you off. Do they even have it on the web shop? Mind you, this is the one that was canned on the 29th of September, so I don't think you'll be able to find that on Cloudwater's website. God, they've got loads of beers on their web shop at the moment. Just absolutely amping up the no, they've done a brew it shandy, will it shandy. Can't be bothered with that. If I wanted a shandy, I'd get an authentic Radler. Gift box and barrel project glass, £10. What you get in that? Oh, it doesn't include any beers. Okay, you pick. Oh, that's a good little incentive. Oh, look at that glass. Oh, that's excited me a little bit. And now that I've got the camera right in front of the picture right in front of the camera, I should say, I can actually read some comments without looking like I'm awkwardly reading comments, which is always helpful. Matt Bink says, liking the new glasses. Thank you. I feel like I'm looking like what Vic Reeves looks like now. Fancy looking watch. It's I got one of the few birthday gifts that I got to replace my other Casio watch, but thank you. Cloudwater did say though, yeah, I've read that one. They did a big up track as well, so I presume they're pretty close to them. Yeah, they're literally across the road from them. So Jagman, if you're ever up in Manchester, you've got some drinking to do. I can tell you that. I can tell you that for note. Verdant just brought out a Dunkel. It's pretty decent. I've been loving Verdant's darker stuff recently. Like new glasses, once again, thank you. The Cloudwater Pilsner was good. Yeah, they do some great lagers. And Jagman and Craig saying cheers to each other. And Hopsine says, would like to see you review more stuff from Utopian and Braybrook. Again, two fantastic lager focused. I think they both do other styles as well. I mean, I can't remember what the beer was called, but it was the broken glasses then. That Utopia. It was like it was a Czech style dark lager in a 330 ml can with a black label. Can't remember what it was called, but that was damn good. That was really, really nice. Will you review Cock ice creams, please, soon, sir? I certainly will, sir. Cock ice creams, you say? And if you want to know about Cock ice creams, go. I'm putting the comments are down below, obviously. Oh no, mind you, they pop up at the side of the screen, don't they? So I think it's either that way or that way. If you want to know what that reference is all about, go check out the Wigan Joker. And go check out anyone else who's commenting, because I think everyone's got a channel, really. Let's see. Oh, I do like that glass. That is a really nice glass. I bet it's dead small though, isn't it? Almost like just like a taster glass. A cognac, 48 centilitres. No, it's a little bit of a bigger glass, but I like that. That's very nice. Anyway, back to the thing I said I was looking at about half an hour ago. Got some interesting mini kegs available. But yeah, I do still buy a lot of Cloudwater. To me, they've not offended me in such a way that I will refuse to drink their beers. I just think it's one of those examples of where idealism or idealistic viewpoints seem to take precedent over beers, really. If that makes sense. It sounded much more clever than it probably actually was, but anyway, can I open that? I don't think I'm going to be able to find the where's that gone? There it is. Don't think I'll be able to find the hot build for this. No, Untappd doesn't have it. Couldn't find it on Cloudwater itself. Short rib poutine advert there on Untappd. I do like poutine. I've not had poutine for a while. And I'm saying poutine, not another word. Any exciting Valentine's plans, Peter? Says Milo. Well, I think this is the peak of excitement I'm going to get on Valentine's Day. But like I said, I'm not bitter or anything like that. But I hope everyone else has had a much more fruitful Valentine's Day. That's one of those things, isn't it? Really, it's easy to get hung up on stuff like that. But at the same time, you know, even when I was those very few relationships that I got to spend Valentine's Day on, never really made an effort because, you know, you make that effort. Well, you should be making that effort 365 days of the year. You know, you shouldn't be dictated to a day where you have to, you know, profess your love to a spouse. It's just so shallow. Do you know what I mean? But then again, it's one of those rare opportunities where if like two people are working different hours or whatever, and they don't really get to see each other much, it's that perfect sort of, yeah, we will use Valentine's Day as an excuse to go out for a meal or just have a night in, maybe book the next day off. I want to hug you, Peter. I would very much welcome that warming embrace, James. I really, really would. Had Cloudwater Hummel IPA last night. It was lovely picking up the birthday beers. It was lovely picking up the birthday beers tomorrow. They're pretty much the same as last year's birthday beers, aren't they? I've just been on the Cloudwater website. I could have looked, but now I just critiqued the labels for the birthday beers. I know they've got another Hopfenweisse, but are they doing those like crazy black IPAs, which are not black IPAs or imperial stouts? St. Valentine worked for the Tavistock Institute. He certainly did. Was St. Valentine a he or she? Can a woman be a saint? Or could a woman be a saint back then? I'm not too sure. The Tavistock. Martin Vegas with multicoloured hearts, which I'm sure Peter Boothroyd would happily piss all over. But good evening, Martin. But yeah, a massive thank you, by the way. I didn't get a chance to really say it last night, but since I've been going on Jimmy O's channel a bit more frequent, just the amount of people coming over and subscribing and supporting, it's completely different sort of content that you basically expected. But I do really appreciate that. I really, really do. And Jimmy has a cheeky haha, and Yagban says Hummel, thumbs up. Do you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put my PayPal link on the stream, which I have started doing that on live streams, by the way. It was for Peter. I don't think Mr. Boothroyd tends to watch my channel. Maybe if I put my blue Chorman's jacket on and bought a bob cap. Not a bob cap, a flat cap. He might do. You money grabber. Well, do you know what? I came to a conclusion where I've literally been uploading content and I've just realised my charger stopped charging, so which is really annoying. So I will be losing charge. It's so annoying. I think my iPhone is actually fucked because it's a real bugger to. How do you go from using a word like fucked to then bugger? Yeah, it's just not charging now. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I don't know, because I did used to make a little bit of money through YouTube when I was doing the Mondo Squalido stuff. But then, you know, people became overly sensitive. You know, sponsorships for channels talk more. Content became age restricted, so you can't monetize it. I wasn't making a living off it by any stretch, but this is so fucking annoying right now. It's just not charging, is it, really? What if I fiddle with the wire a little bit? I'm sure this is thrilling viewing for people. I'll have to put my link up on the next stream. I mean, it would literally go back into the channel. I'm not going to run off with people's money because I can't really run that far. He probably is sucking on a cock ice cream at the moment. Fair play to him. Fair play to him. No, there we go. I think that's charging now. There we are. How can I post that comment? Because I think I'd have to leave StreamYard and then post it. Do I have PayPal on here? Fingerprints. Ah, here we go. I mean, I could give it to charity. I would actually like to do a charity stream. And can I pin that comment? I can star the comment. But yeah, anyway. With me being the uploader, can I actually... Ah, there we go. There we are. But yeah, I completely forgot what train of thought I was riding on there. Let's see, let's catch up on the comments. Peter, I think we are caught up now. Put live chat on as opposed to top chat. But yeah, these are two really nice double IPA. God, could I look more militant? James, you are a shyster, but a wonderful man. Very much appreciated. I just got the notification then. You didn't have to, James. Now I feel guilty for putting the link on the comments, but I very much appreciated. That's I don't know. I find that weird that someone's actually donated. Thank you, James. Though genuinely, thank you. Get an overpriced can of shit ale. Well, do you know what? I'm going to highlight your comment. And I love you too, Jim. I genuinely do. You know, there's only a select sort of few people. And this is serious talk now. It's not going to be emotional serious talk, but it is serious talk. There's only sort of like a select few people of the people who I associate with, who I consider, you know, genuine friends. Well, I'll keep the I love you highlighted, James. Don't worry. You should see my typos. And do you know what? I was probably going to do a video about this anyway. But because I'm all about honesty, I preach, you know, say how you feel, have a platform to talk about, you know, things and how you're feeling and that sort of stuff. And I mean, people have probably noticed if you follow me on like Instagram, I'm always deactivating, reactivating. I thought my Facebook was Benjamin Preach, sir. No, don't preach that. That's very Satanist. Don't think John Wedger would approve, but yeah, it's people have probably picked up on my behaviour over this past 2 years. Some of the videos that I've uploaded, some of the live streams talking about certain stuff, and yeah, it's been a challenging couple of years, really. Obviously, everyone's had, you know, a challenge with the whole COVID stuff, which has played a factor. But this past couple of years, I think it's really brought to light, I don't want to say like a general unhappiness or anything like that. Thank you, James. I do genuinely appreciate that. But things have happened over the past sort of like 2 years. Um, you know, losing a close member of the family. There was a bit of a scare within the family as well, completely unrelated. Um, I had a bit of a sort of, I don't know, it wasn't really a relationship, but that broke down. Just, it was one of those things, I think it was more timing and my own sort of personal reaction to it, which really sort of like threw me into a stupor. But I made the realization these past few years, really, going a bit longer than that, just something didn't seem right. Do you know what I mean? And did a bit of soul searching. Uh, I've, I've not been. Some people have experienced a side of me that I'm not a fan of. I really don't like. It's a fan that it's a fan. It's a side of me that I just I just don't like. Do you know what I mean? To the point where I'm lashing out at people when they've done nothing wrong. My behaviour's not been the best to some people, yet they're still, wanting to have something to do with me. The things like that. Um, Making some sort of like realizations and dwelling on stuff, which I'd always been a. I thought I was a good practitioner of not dwelling on things. But recent events have brought up sort of like past memories and a lot of what ifs and all those really unhelpful sort of things, which you tell yourself not to do. A few realizations, a lack of direction, an overbearing sense of unfulfillment, that sort of stuff. And I don't want to say an act of desperation. The brighter the light, the darker the shadow. Those words resonate. I don't want to hide any comments. Sorry, just got distracted. There we go. So, within the last few weeks, I took the steps of reaching out to basically get some, not necessarily counselling, because I've not had any appointments yet. I've got my first sort of like appointment coming up towards the end of February. It's more of a sort of an assessment thing. Good evening, Vanessa. Hope you're doing okay. And it's something that I think it might not be, it might not help. It might not be the solution. But I think I needed to do something. I needed to make a step. I'm not feeling creatively fulfilled. I started a new Instagram page to promote sort of like my art and creative projects from over the years. Which at first it was great, I was like revisiting all these like things, but then I was like, well, you've done nothing with that. It led to nowhere. That sort of thing. And it's amazing how the most, at the time, the trivialist, is that a proper word? The most trivial of things can really sort of like begin to snowball almost. And I thought, you know what? Give it a try. While I'm waiting for my appointment, on my first sort of session, see what else you can find. So I'm still doing a bit of soul searching, I would say. Been there, I suffer with. Hang on a minute, I'll read your comment from my phone, Benjamin. I suffer with contamination OCD. The important thing is you have took a step forward. Definitely. Is it scaring the shit out of me? Of course it is. Just in case I make even more realizations. But do you know what? I think for the past God knows how long, I've just been trudging along, you know, dragging my feet. And yeah, so I think it'd be interesting to see what the next step is. In fact, I'm going to look that up. I won't go into it, obviously, because, you know, I don't want to put anyone on blast. But let me look what that is. Let me see. Do you know what, mate? Yes, I have had that. I've had. Why did I start that off like really snarkily? Sorry, Gary. Um, yeah, I've had both beers. What's the name of Instagram page? I will edit as well. It's the underscore casual underscore smokers underscore collective. But it might not have the in the name. But I really appreciate that, Vanessa. But yeah, I've had both beers. In fact, for anyone who's joining who's actually here for the beer content and not for me to, you know, fucking spew out my current situation. Gary, well, obviously you've seen from the thumbnail what beers I've had. We've got the Ness Atalanta, which a little bit too fresh, I'm gonna say. Still tasting good, and you can get what the beer is without the hot burn and the uber freshness clouding your judgment too much. But for me, the star of the show has been this. The Dank is short for Danker, double dank IPA, and it very much is one of the dankest IPAs that I've had in quite a long time, to be honest. This is it's that one in this glass. But yeah, very nice stuff indeed. Are you live as well, Jim? I'll probably pop over in a bit, to be honest. Let's see, keep talking, it's great. Thank you, James. And Thomas says, have you been squonking today? I only squonked when I saw you and Harry on stream. You handsome, handsome devils. But good evening, Thomas. I only, it's trendy to like Cloudwater, but they make brilliant beers. Well above average. They've just made some bad decisions. I think you've summarised the whole Cloudwater thing perfectly. Yeah, they're churning out really good, high quality beers, and they do loads of styles really, really well. I've probably said some unfair things, mainly in private conversation. Not gonna lie about Paul and some of the stuff he's posted and his. I don't necessarily disagree with some of the stances he has, but I think it's when you're posting stuff like that, and you're on a page that's directly connected to a business that you've built. It's you've got to tread a fine line. Do you know what I mean? It's again, I don't really disagree with a lot of the stuff he says, but I'm just like, do you really have to vocalize it? But then part of me is like, well, if you've got a viewpoint on something, and you've got a platform, and you've got people who will read what you're saying and stuff like that, then of course use that platform. But I don't think it's really helped Cloudwater, and it's sort of like stamped some things. I think the worst thing that Cloudwater have done was sort of kind of turn the back on independent retailers. You know, when all this kicked off, they could have handled that a much better way. They could have. I mean, they already had a really good direct sales sort of thing set up, but I don't think it needed to be as. I don't know. It's a tough subject to talk about. But again, it's one of those things where I can completely understand people who don't want to buy Cloudwater beers at the moment. Um, I don't know. I think you've got to be very careful with stuff like that. Doesn't matter what company or whatever, because sometimes it can. Hang on a minute. It can really bite the company in the arse. I mean, it doesn't look like it's affected Cloudwater too much, really. Um, there's still. I'd imagine their sales are still pretty consistent and good. They're still going all around the country, putting on events, sending kegs and stuff like that. I mean, you just need to look at the Cloudwater web shop to see such a range of beers at the moment. But yeah, it is a bit sort of trendy to rag on Cloudwater. But to be honest, they're still brewing some fantastic beers. I've had some really good Cloudwater beers over this weekend. Um, I mean, I still, you know, cannot praise that my continuous improvement chocolate orange imperial stout anymore because that any more than I already have because that was absolutely gorgeous. You felt the quality of the adjuncts in the beer. It wasn't just let's throw all of this into this beer and send out. It's like you can tell that they've very carefully selected where they're sourcing like the cacao from and where they're getting the sort of like the orange side of things because you know you're always going to get very high quality ingredients when it comes to breweries like Cloudwater. But yeah, the tap room still it's a bit of a meme. You know they've got yoga instructions and relaxation tapes playing in the unisex toilets. Um, are they actually unisex? I can't really remember. It's been a while since I've been to Tap Room 9 or Unit 9, I should say. But you get some really high quality fresh beers on keg. I really like their merch. They have sort of like a very generally good sort of like ethos. I'm not one of those like shouting, shouting ethical praise from the rooftops or anything like that. And I've just realised that the scumbag Harry from Blue Nose Beer Reviews has left a comment, and I just saw the initial CW, so I'm sure he's got something interesting to say about Cloudwater. You are missing out. You are genuinely missing out on some really good beers, by the way. People who aren't purchasing Cloudwater products. Let's see. You put it on the community page. Well, very much appreciated, James. Always appreciated. Last 2 years has been like the prisoner with Patrick McGowan. That's a really good synopsis of this past 2 years. Thomas, you're much too kind. You are the handsomest, especially being the Poundland Jesus that we all need. They basically said that on Wednesday. They got in bed with it. Yeah, definitely of the Brewdog. I mean, do you know what? From a business perspective, you're getting your beers, albeit shadows of the beers that you can actually brew yourself. because it is BrewDog. And yeah, I think some of that was the reason why Paul. I don't know if he's, because I'm not on Twitter, really. This is tasting more like orange juice the more I'm drinking it. This Ness Atalanta, not Atlanta. Which reminds me, I've got a little bit of a cheeky accumulator on, which is probably not coming. During the worst of the pandemic, Cloudwater stopped supplying their most loyal independent bottle shops in favour of supply all directly. Again, yeah, it's like they. I think there could have been a really good middle ground because, it's basically the bottle shops who got their beers out there, really. But they did the direct to consumer stuff really well, and in an efficient way. But yeah, I think that to me has probably been the worst thing that Cloudwater have done when it comes to they're basically fucking over, you know, the independent retailers who were supporting them. Yeah, I completely agree. The BrewDog partnership, it was inevitable. It makes sense. You create these recipes and then you get someone else to brew it en masse who's got the facilities to do so, and you get your name in the supermarkets. Is the final product good? No, it's nowhere near what Cloudwater can achieve, even with their most like lowest rated releases. Do you know what I mean? MCI Chocolate Orange is my favourite stout ever. Both original brew and yes, recent rebrew. I had a few cans of that. Yeah, I think that there's still a few cans floating around of that, and I would definitely get that again. I think it's a tie between my favourite Imperial Stouts in recent memory. Between Trax, Language Barrier, the barrel aged version, and Cloudwater's My Continuous Improvement Rebrewed Chocolate Orange. They talked about the stout and the oranges they used. Okay. I'd like to actually hear a little bit more about that. Jackman, what they said about that. Okay. Harry from Blue Nose Beer Reviews, who probably knows a lot more, let's face it, about the actual industry itself, says, I'm led to believe Cloudwater are struggling, hence the supermarket U-turn and shift to sell to indies again. Interesting. That's an interesting viewpoint. And Benjamin says, I heard Harry has a small stump. I won't comment on that. And then was is best with a dot. No, it's not. Yeah, it is a dot. I saw it on Google. I like was a lot actually. Stian was. But good evening was his best. Any more comments? Want to click on live chat? Nope. And James, I knew you were still watching, James. We've got Martin Redding, the intellectual of the Jimmy O community. Says good evening, Peter. Good evening, Martin. Hope you're doing well, sir. The Wallies from Wally. Do you know what? This has proper lifted my spirits a little bit, this live stream. It really, really has. I preferred the barrel-aged Imperial Stout based on an old fable, it's called. Okay. That sounds interesting. I'm a patient. Feel free to elaborate if you want to, Martin, but you don't have to. But fundamentally, I hope, all things considered, all is well, sir. In a nut house, says Jimmy. Icing on the cake there, James. But yeah, I said this is only going to be a short stream. I mean, mind you, it's only just about 10 to 10, and a bit of a revelation about my mental situation. There are still friends and family who I haven't even told about that, but you're all my children. So you're all puppets on Uncle Jimmy's strings. And I'm happy to be a puppet. Man, this... See, Harry, you're missing out on this beer. Excuse me. It's one of the dankest beers that I've had in a hell of a long time. I'm like Ron L. Hubbard. How do you feel about tap houses as regards to pubs? I think it all depends on location, really. I do like a good sort of like tap house, tap room sort of setup, because you do tend to, because they're a bit more independent, you do tend to get a bit more sort of range of interesting beers. Although certain pubs do have some good selections as well. But I like it when that places just have some nice local beers from local breweries. I think that's something that Skelmersdale is severely lacking. It just seems like there isn't a market in the local pubs to have sort of like local sort of craft beer on. It's a bit of a craft beer wasteland, is Skem. And I sort of think, obviously pubs have suffered a hell of a lot. Tap houses, tap rooms, brew pubs, even restaurants that have good beer ranges, hospitality in general, really. But there was this really big push for people to, when pubs were open, albeit with restrictions in place, go support your local pub. Just go buy a few pints. If there are any local eateries, throw a few quid around their way as well. So we've, as consumers, we've helped the pubs. It's been, a lot of places have gone bust. So there was this big drive of people, go to your local pub, go have a few pints. You can now. You might have to, do it under really stupid circumstances in a lot of places. But at the same time, and I'm just talking from my sort of immediate locality, there's Claybrow brewery, Nano Brewery, Neil, he's literally over there, and he's brewing professional quality beer, and it's basically just, I think it's just him and his wife who helps out. There's loads of pubs nearby that could easily just take one keg, one cask, whatever, and just put it on. If people don't want to drink it, the pub's not lost that much money, really, in the grand scheme of things. They've tried something, but because I think there's a lot of people in Skem who want really good sort of alternatives. Now, I'm not one of these people who says, oh, it's Carling, they only got Carling on. So what? I'll have a pint of Carling. I don't care. I'll have Coors Light, probably one of my sort of go-to beers when I'm drinking around town. Around town. Do you know what I mean? So it's like we've supported the pubs, and I think there's a little bit of a responsibility for pubs to support their local brewers, if that makes sense. And it's not for lack of trying. I was talking to Neil from Clay Brow a few weeks ago when he kindly gifted me one of his Imperial Stouts and a glass to go along with it. And he was just like saying, no, there's not many people who are either not interested in giving one of his beers a try, or that sort of like overbearing feeling of there's just no market for it. And it's really sad because without the brewers, there's no good beer options in the pubs. And I'd love to be able. I mean, there's quite a few pubs in Skem that I do like going for a drink. The Hare and Hounds just up the road. It's a nice space. They've got an all right selection, but there's nothing stopping them having just one keg just to try it for a couple of weeks from a brewer who's literally, a 1 minute car ride away, who will be able to supply you with a good amount of beer to put on your keg line. He's having to go like to places like Blackpool. You can get his beers at Windy Harbour in Wigan Way, and it shouldn't be like that. It should be you should be able to get that stuff on your doorstep, but nobody seems to be supplying it. And it's not a case of Neil not doing a good job of getting his beers out there, because he is getting his beers out there. But we should be supporting people like that. Although I'm a bit of a hypocrite. There's Gracious Grub. There's Winners Not Sinners, two really interesting eateries right at the top of my road who have built a great reputation. But I'm here talking about pubs not buying local beers. I've not bought any food from them. Do you know what I mean? It's like I think we've all got a part to play in supporting local producers. And in the beer sense, Skem's not doing anything. There's the engine rooms. Now, I'm not sure if they've got a license with someone. I'm not too sure how like a music venue stands when it comes to alcohol licenses. Whether sort of like a brewery has to, or a conglomerate has to. But you can get bottles of Punk IPA. They've got Camden Hells on tap. So what's stopping like Claybrow or some of the more sort of like Merseyside, Wigan-based brewers having a couple of beers on? It's a music venue. Is it like closed-minded? Not ignorance, but are people just too used to getting a pint of Coors Light? Which nothing wrong with it. Again, nothing wrong with it. But there's surely got to be a lot of people within the vicinity of Skem who love this stuff as much as I do. I don't know. It's a weird thing, and it's just like we've supported the pubs, and there are so many pubs and free houses, tap houses, whatever, who are doing a really good job of not just supporting local breweries, but getting some really good stuff from the other end of the country in their premises. And I'd just like to see Skem be a little bit more like that. Do you know what I mean? Because, yeah, it's probably not going to, they're probably not going to run out within a few days or anything like that. But there'll be people who think, oh, is Skelmersdale based? Brewer. I live in Skelmersdale. Lived here all my life. Yeah, I'll have a pint of that. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Don't have to buy it again. You know, I'm not one of those people who thinks, oh, just support local because it's local. Sometimes local producers, they're not really the best. Do you know what I mean? But if you've got an opportunity, then I think you should go for it. Take that risk. Was his best says was and Steve Jimmy is the best. CGI Fandom, good evening, says abandoned pubs. Wigan Joper, definitely Joper. Def Leppard. I read it on Google. Says, well, he says Def Leppard, obviously. CGI Fandom says Mac Lads. And then Dave the Rave in Scousland. Good evening, Dave. Hi, Wigan Warrior Joker and the Sensible Drinker Lad. I like that. I like that name. Martin says, such a good idea, Peter. Unfortunately, so many pubs, if not owned, are contracted. Very true. Very true. But there are those occasions where a premises would be able to. It's probably not going to be the most financially viable option. But, you know, it just giving a local producer a chance goes a hell of a long way. But then again, it's easy for me to say that because that's not my livelihood. You know, I'm not in that industry. But I don't know, maybe I'm being a bit too idealistic. Chris Ashurst, good evening, says, evening Peter and everyone from Lord James's Madhouse. They've escaped. They've escaped and they've taken over the channel, which I'm very, very appreciative of. All my lot are piling in now, Peter. Again, very much appreciated. Pub shutting down is killing community spirit. All the big companies care about is money. Mr. Cool Drinker Lad. I like that. I would like to think that Dave the Rave could give me a unique name in every comment he writes. That's the challenge for the evening. But that's very true as well. Very true. I'm waiting for Mr. Ryder to come on and review some Guinness. That'll be an interesting dual review. Don't know how long my channel would last, but I'd happily take that risk. Northwest GPL, good evening. Would a real ale bar do well in Scam? It probably wouldn't do amazing. But if you can have good drinking options in, mind you, Bersco's a bit different. Ormskirk obviously is a bit more of a bigger sort of shopping area. So you do get some. You've got some really good pubs and bars in Ormskirk, as you do in Bersco. I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to see someone try and have, you know, a premises in Skem. But again, it's one of those things. Would the sort of the local drinkers really go out for that sort of stuff? I don't know. I just sort of I'd like to see I'd like to see someone trying really. I mean, the Hare and Hounds did have a little bit of a craft sort of period where you could buy some like interesting cans and bottles. But I think that was one of those things where once they sold out, they were like, yeah, it's not really financially viable for us. But it does make sense, really. I completely see the other side of it. Supermarkets have killed the pubs. Can't compete with Asda, Mr. Drinker. That's very true. It's one of those double-edged swords. If you're sort of like a craft beer and real ale drinker, because the supermarkets now, depending on which specific sort of supermarket you go to, because one Tesco's could have a really good range of beers compared to that Tesco's, that Asda. I mean, Scam Asda, their range of craft beer isn't great. But again, you know, a lot of breweries are, you know, getting their beers into the supermarkets, which is great. on the face of it, people getting into it and that sort of stuff, it gets their name out there to a bit more of a mainstream market. Um, that's how I personally started getting into this sort of stuff, was walking past the beer aisle and I was like, that looks really interesting. Oh, it's like £4 for £6. Sure, I'll pick four random sort of beers, take them home. The ones I enjoy, sure, I'll pick up another bottle next time I'm doing my shopping. Wasn't a big fan of that, so I'll try this instead. So it works on that sort of way. But again, with well, especially with COVID as well playing a factor, I think people have just got used to going to the local off license or supermarket, getting like a crate or a few bottles, a few cans, and just drinking at home. But yeah, the supermarkets have definitely played a part in um, that side of things. When it comes to craft, I think because we can be a pretentious, selective bunch at times. Oh, I need to go to my bottle shop. I need to go to my beer website. Um, I'd like to think I never go out my way to go to a supermarket just to get beer. I'll always buy from direct from breweries themselves. I'll go to, like I said, for anybody from Jimmy's channel based in Wigan, in or around Wigan, um, go check out Northern Beer Temple. Can't remember, it's right next to the Tesco, and it's up that hill. That's a bit of a questionable gesture to do. It's up that hill going up to the hospital. That's a great bottle shop, and John's a really, really good guy. And there's some really great drinking places in Wigan. It's always had a good sort of like cask scene. I mean, obviously, camera have been quite prevalent over the years, but there's some really great places. Wigan Central, right next to Wigan train station. The Swan, facing the train station. You can get a really nice pie there, which it's not a local pie, but it's a good pie. I mean, obviously you've got green owls, you've got Rathbones, you've got some really good places to get a nice meat and potato pie and sausage roll, and some more independent places in Wigan. Obviously, that's a given. What else you got? You've got the John Bull Chop House, and then you've got the crafty bit in there as well. Where else have you got? You've got proper. Is it called Proper Crafty? That's a good place, and some really interesting little bars. Sort of bars like if you're out in Wigan, you just seem to walk past. Well, just stop, have a look, go in, just have one pint, see what they've got. Give them a try. I think Wigan's got a really good selection of pubs. You've got the Anvil as well. They get some really good stuff in, some nice cask. Was it the Tudor that was by the train, the bus station? I think that closed ages ago, didn't it? But that was a good little place. Was it the Tudor? Was it the Tudor House? I can't remember. A bit like more of like a rock metal sort of place. But yeah, Wigan's got some really good breweries in that area as well. Prospect, good historical sort of brewery. Not sure where they are now. I think they got bought by someone, didn't they? But I think they were based more in Standish, although you can see the Prospect Brewery building as you're going into Wigan town centre. Hophurst, although I think they're more. I don't know, are they Hindley or are they more towards Bolton? Twisted Wheel, not too far away. Although I think they're more Warrington based. But yeah, there's plenty of really good, affordable drinking options in Wigan. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to go to any of the nightclubs, especially any nightclubs down King Street, because they'll never not make money. Revolution will not struggle to get people in and to sell their stuff. But yeah, there's some really good places in Wigan, actually. So anyone based in Wigan, you've got some really good options. You really, really have. James is going, although I think he left ages ago, so apologies about that, Jim. I will message you after, because that was a wonderful gesture before. Good evening, Peter, everyone, says Hayley. Good evening, Hayley. Hope you're doing well. Keep being idealistic. That'd be a good good t-shirt, that, Martin. What happened to the pound pubs? They did not last long, Mr. Drinker. Oh, the pound pubs. God, I remember that concept. I don't remember it too much, though. The pound pubs. Fucking hell, that takes me back to a place. Frozen Guinness in a cock shape, says Martin. How else would you like to have your Guinness served? And then Steve from Stuntman Steve's Tavern. Good evening, sir. Says, hey, mate. Hope you're good, mate. Yeah, I'm not too bad. Not too bad, Steve. Just been on my soapbox about how pubs locally should be supporting more local producers. Although, by the way, if anyone lives near Skem and you want really good pizza, I think it's on Fridays and Saturdays. The Hare and Hounds pub on near Cornbrook, near Tanhouse, Collington, by the Texaco garage. On Friday and Saturday, I think it's Friday and Saturday, Whisk and Pickle have a stand, and I swear to God, I'm doing the pretentious fascist symbol. Swear to God, some of the best pizza you will ever have. Really, really good stuff. But yeah, when it comes to local, I could be a lot better promoting local. I really, really could. And it's something that I'd like to, be a bit more conscientious about going forward. That was good. And this is even better. This is beautiful, this. I don't know, should I have another beer? It is only 20 past 10. See, I don't know how correct that count is on viewers. Mind you, 13. Showing 13 on there. But on like the YouTube playback, it's only showing 3. But very much appreciated to anyone watching, but of course to those who have come over from the wonderful Jimmy O'Neill. Been really enjoying getting back on Jimmy's streams. I should have been on a lot more, really, considering I'm working from home for the majority of the week. But yeah, very, very much appreciated. And I hope everyone's had no matter what your circumstances or your situation, I hope your Valentine's Day has been as best as it can be. But I can completely relate to anyone out there who fucking hates days like this. It's such a shallow. I don't want to say meaningless, because then that sort of takes away from people who like to celebrate it with their other half, which is great. But it's like, don't just use one day to show your appreciation for, the person who makes you complete. Do you know what I mean? Because yeah, it's such a stupid money making like holiday. But this past weekend, having my birthday, and then just after the weekend. It's Valentine's Day. It doesn't half make you long for that. Just that one little thing. Not that it's going to define you or, complete you and make you a better person. Because obviously a relationship should, make you and the other person a better person in general. But do you know what I mean? And, there are so many people who, like, they'll bicker, they'll bitch about their other half over the tiniest little thing, and I'm just like, what if they're not there tomorrow? What if they're gone? Do you know what I mean? Just swallow your pride, apologise, do what you have to do, move on. Obviously, don't compromise. If they're in the wrong, then you shouldn't have to grovel. But do you know what I mean? It's just like people just. It's a weird situation. Peter Webb stepped up. A very engaging ensemble without pause, repetition, or ignorance. Thank you, Martin. Very much appreciate that. YO Brewery near me recently closed. Shame, as it seemed to do well. YO? I'm not sure I've heard of that. Where are you based, Chris? Very true, Peter. Life's too short, says Hayley. Exactly. It's just like, just be thankful. I mean, obviously, it's not the be-all, end-all that you've got someone there to come home to. Because there are people who are very happy just going about the business, living the life on their own. Much respect to those people, but it's just like, oh my god, yeah, the stuff you hear people moaning about, it's like, are you fucking kidding me? I'd love to be able to moan about something like that. Not that anyone owes me anything like that. Blackrod Horwich. Okay. But yeah, I've not heard of those before. YO Brewery. Or it might be one of those breweries that I have heard of but never seen. And Martin getting all lovey-dovey with Hayley. But yeah, I'm not the cynical part. Well, I am cynical. I'm fundamentally miserable, but in that sort of like 70s. Who was that like comedian? British comedian, or I don't know if he was a comedian or if he was an actor, but there was a TV series, and it was just about like one miserable man, and I've never been able to find out what it is. So it's all like that, sort of like charming British, sort of Colin Firth, sort of self-imposed misery. But I can see the funny side of it. I might have another beer after this. Probably not the best idea since I've got to go into the office tomorrow, but you know what? I'm not drowning my sorrows because what's the point? Really. Mm. They're dead good. And Hayley showing her concern for Martin. Are you talking about Rob Brydon when he was in God? No, not Marion and Jeff. I'm going like back to the 60s and 70s. Oh, I can't remember what he was called. I just remember like one clip of him like being all like on his own at a train station, which sounds much more depressing than it actually was. But I think it was like for comedic effect. But Marion and Jeff, I need to revisit that. I loved how that sort of like story unfolded. And I tell you what, I need to watch because I think there's been a few more series of The Trip, hasn't there, with Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon. I really enjoyed that. Reginald Perrin. I'm gonna have to look up Reginald Perrin. You might have solved something that has haunted me. No, not Reginald D. Hunter. Oh, excuse me. No. no, not with Martin Clunes. Although I do actually, that sounds like quite an interesting series, to be honest. Martin Clunes. Why have I said Martin Clunes? It's not even Martin Clunes, is it? Yeah, it is Martin Clunes. That was like I'd imagine a remake. Reggie Perrin. Ah, Leonard Roster. No, it's not him. It's not Leonard Roster. Although that actually looks like a really quite interesting TV series, to be honest. Is that where that stereotype of a man walking into the sea comes from? Interesting. I don't think I'm at that point yet, but I'm just a tortured artist. Reggie Perrin is a legend, says Martin. I was kidnapped by Extinction Rebellion. I set fire to the wooden cage. Well, I'm glad you're free. Butterflies. Is that what I give you, Martin? I appreciate that. Or is that actually is that alluding to what I could be thinking of? The original one had a different name, but same character name. Yeah, are you talking about the singing detectives? I don't think it's the singing. It was like one man. I can't even begin to describe what I think it is. Let's have a look. The singing detective. No, not with Michael Gambon. Do you know what? Depressed 70s UK comic. Or, as I've just typed it in, Depth Steed. No, I don't want to look at famous comedians who committed suicide. No, thank you. Comedian, popular people also search for comedian who killed himself 2018. Comedian kills himself on stage. Comedian who killed himself 2021. UK comedians. Comedian who killed himself 2020. Comedian who killed himself 2019. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to get to the bottom of that. Rising damp. I moved to St Leonard's to walk into the sea. I obviously had second thoughts. It was probably cold on that day, Martin. The one time British weather has ever saved a life. Rigsby. Now that rings a bell. Could that be who I'm thinking of? Oh, you're talking about his Leonard Roster's character from Rising Damp. No, I can't. I can't think of it for the life of me. Unless it's one of those like Mandela effects where I've just invented it. But yeah, I wouldn't be able to describe what he looks like. He like wore a shirt and tie, like suit, shirt and tie. I don't know. I don't want to waste any more anyone else's energy on this, to be honest. Adam, I wish I could give you more of a description, but it's just a very vague image that I have in my head. All I remember is like he always used to walk around like that. That's all I remember in black and white, and I've just hit the door knob. But yeah, I don't know for the life of me what the fuck I'm talking about this moment. I'm getting another beer. Fuck it. It's a Blue Monday. Oh, by the way, Adam, before I actually get a beer, that's a good crotch shot. Do you have these two bottles, or does Harry have these two bottles? Do we all have these two bottles? Because could these be saved for a potential live review? I mean, I'm not gonna open one of these now anyway, but I don't know. This to me has live review written all over it. And yet, I realise that I'm dressed like a communist, but it is what it is. Oh. 33 years old and grunting. Okay. So I can just drink them at my own leisure. That's fine. Suit, shirt, and tie. You could be describing Mr. Ben. I've decided to, last beer of the night, we're going for Hop Kettle Polaris, 3.7%, New Zealand Pale Ale. Yeah, Harry popped in for a little bit earlier, but I think he's busy with other engagements at the moment. That's standard version and the Jack Daniel's barrel aged. Interesting. You don't really see too many beers aged in Jack Daniel's barrels. But yeah, last beer of the evening. Nice looking real ale. And I will be switching off the stream in a little while. 14 viewers, I think that's the most I've ever had on a live stream, so I shall be sending a message of thanks to James after this stream. But of course, massive thank you to anyone watching. Peter, please can you fix it for me to send a case of your fine ales for me to review? First month free. Joe Martin, I would actually like to send you some proper northern beers at some point. And there was a dog being strangled outside. I don't know. Oh, don't know if anyone heard that. But I hope no animals were harmed. But then again, it is Skelmersdale. But yeah, that would be interesting, that, actually, Martin, to send you over some beers. Although there are people who I need to actually send beers over to. And I see Adam's comment is showing on my StreamYard feed, but it's not showing up here. The barley wine and wheat wine were foul, definitely infected. I have a beer 52 golden ticket if anyone wants. There you go, Martin. Get yourself a bit of a beer hookup. Part of the community now. Now, as someone who's not a big fan of New Zealand hops, be interesting to try this one. It's got sort of like a general sort of marmalade-y, citrusy sort of aroma. Almost like a citrusy jelly, almost. I'm poor and desperate, says Martin. I'll drink to that, sir. And Jesus McCracken says, hello, sir. Can't stand these weird brews, but have subscribed anyway, as you seem like a nice fella. Well, thank you very much, Jesus McCracken. Very much appreciated. Peter, are you a fan of Oranjeboom? It's not a lager. It's a lager, not a tune, says Keith Roberts. Do you know what? I've never tried Orange Boom, but the I never like to refer it as a Polish shop because it's got like Romanian stuff in there, and I don't know how you'd politically correctly uh, associate a shop like that. But there is a shop fairly local that does sell it, and I will have to do it for a review on the channel. But it is one that I have had my eye on. Peter, have you seen you are now not the only Evertonian beer review? Guy from Wirral, Jonathan Ross, Wirral now reviews. Jesus McGrackney is better than Judas Ben Dover. What, there's a Judas version of the pornographer Ben Dover? He never made a good video in his life, Ben Dover. That's just like that cheap British trashy stuff. Oh, it's very drying. Are you friends with the pensioner's favourite, the legendary Stuart Pickard? I am indeed, and both myself and Mersey Beers had the privilege of being in his company 2 weeks ago while we were having a drink in Liverpool. Martin says, Keith Roberts is a pervert. Aren't we all? Good company there. Randy Boom is Dutch and class. Don't let him put you off. Yeah, I think you can only get 4-packs locally here. I will do. I've got a can of... Is it Perla that Harry sent over? She was very restrained, I thought. Yeah, he wasn't completely off the leash, so no old people were inappropriately groped on our Liverpool trip. I mean, we don't know who he took back to his hotel room, but that's a private matter for Stuart. Pensioner's favourite, that's putting it mildly. Keith Roberts says, all Sri Lankan shops sell it. Orange Boom is a life changer. I only drink 12 cans a night, and my friend Martin Redding can't take 1 can, unfortunately. Well, I can't really add any comments to that, to be honest. But I shall make a conscientious decision to go source myself some cans. It is payday soon, after all. So are you based in Sri Lanka, Keith? Apologies if this has already been addressed months ago on Jimmy's channel, and Martin says he's a knobhead. Are you gonna have a straightener in a centralised location? Because that's what every other YouTuber's doing, is just fucking offering each other out for a fight, apparently. But, you know, it's the ultimate gentleman's agreement, I suppose, to have a bit of a punch-up, shake hands, have a pint afterwards. Certainly better than fucking knifing someone. Not that I condone any form of violence. Jesus McCracken, Peas Pottage, punch-up. Definitely. Definitely, and it should be live streamed. Live streamed in portrait mode. Just for added effect. No, run call. All Indian shops here are actually Sri Lankan, lovely people. Ah, okay. Ah, I see. That makes sense. Yeah, we've got a Polish shop on Digmore Parade. Well, it's not a Polish shop. It's like a... It always sounds like I'm being very ignorant when I'm trying to describe that shop. But as I said, it's got like the Polish stuff, some Czech stuff. It's a bit Baltic. Could that be a good phrase? I don't want to say Eastern European shop. But it's one of those places. They have nice bread, very nice bread, and they've got a good crisp selection. So happy days for me. Plus, not too bad of a beer selection either, really. And they've got some good cured sausages, which is always a plus. And nice cream cheese. Let's see. All Indian shops here are actually Sri Lankan. That's it. That's an interesting cross-contamination of culture in the best way possible. If a certain bumhole in Essex wants to jump in the ring for charity, I'll break out my boxing gloves from the loft. Let's get it sorted. Let's get it sorted, Adam. We won't dignify that arsehole by saying his name, but I think some of the community from Jimmy's channel will know who exactly you're talking about. Martin says he's not worth it. A curb crawler, allegedly. Allegedly, not allegedly. Weird sausage, odd fizzy drinks, and Tiskia. What more? What more could you want? And then Keith says Martin is hard. I'll stay away from that erect stuff, to be honest. Yeah, it's occupational hazard, that. And sausage and beer in Bavaria. And I would happily be the spit bucket man. I don't want to be someone's spit bucket. I'm not that lonely on Valentine's Day. Not yet, anyway. Maybe next year. What more could you want? Exactly. Exactly. This isn't too bad, actually. Doesn't really sort of make me become a champion of New Zealand hops, but to be honest, not a bad pale ale. And it's getting a little bit warm in here, so I'm going to take this scarf off. Even though I look like I'm part of some form of a People's Republic. Steve says, just come back. I'm so confused. You and me both, sir. I'm always confused. Oh, excuse me. Peter, can you recommend a 6% beer? What's your favourite lately? A 6% beer, Keith? I can't, off the top of my head, think of a 6% beer. Adam, do you care to help me navigate Keith in finding a good 6% beer that is readily available? I'll have to think about that one. Come back to Spit Bucket Man. Well, it's definitely better than my toilet slave years, that's for sure. Which, by the way, if you're into really grisly late 80s, early 90s pornography, look up Jamie Gillis on the Prowl, the precursor to the whole gonzo adult film industry, by an absolute legend of the industry. So, you know, you get to learn a lot of stuff. Let's see, if you could do 6.2%, Keith, then most Daya IPAs. I'd say that's a very good shout, that, Adam. I can't believe people. I'm sound like Jimmy now. I can't believe people watching this shit. But I do appreciate people watching this. From someone who drinks 16.5% Orange Boom Keith. Really? Just wants to be a bit sensible, Martin. Orange Boom. By the way, Keith and Martin, who seem to be well versed, and I very much respect this in the higher ABV Eastern European, well, not just Eastern European, but European lagers. Have either of you fine fellows tried is it OJ? Because they do some silly high% lagers, which taste like arse, but it's like you've eaten arse and got drunk, which is always good. Jesus McCracken says, a friend of mine who suffers from mental illness used to boil up special brew and drink it from a teacup. He's locked up for assaulting Dracula in a public toilet. Do you know what? That's an absolutely fantastic story. Um, and I think that needs to be put to screen. I mean, obviously, I don't laugh at anyone's expense in that regard. But yeah, from boiling special brew on the hob to beating up Dracula in a public toilet. The rise and fall of the clueless drinker. That brew by numbers Citra and Amarillo IPA in Tesco is a manga at 6%. That's a good shout. You do find some good options in the supermarkets if you want to try getting into craft. You could definitely get some good stuff there. They certainly are, Martin. It's if I'm lucky, it's a £10 a day habit. Although I enjoy watching these lives because it's random and sometimes it's very intelligent conversation too. Um, I can't say I'm very good at the intelligent conversation, but I do appreciate that, Steve. Very much so. True. Boiling reduce the alcohol content, so that's bollocks. But you get a nice roux off it. Was it the real Dracula or just an actor playing Dracula? See, that's the important detail we need to iron out. OJ is a Ranjibu, same manufacturer, OJ and Ranjibu. That's very true, actually. What's the company called? Something like International or something like that. It's a shame our friend Harry from Blue Nose Beer Reviews isn't here because he's quite the what's the term I'm looking for? He's quite the aficionado of low quality, high ABV alcohol beverages. And if you ever want a discussion about dragon soup, then he's your man to go to. Marta Redding, not if you condense it as well. Very much correct, very much correct. Marta Redding says right, and Martin Redding also says I've reported Martin Redding. Do we have an intruder amongst us, Martin? He also used to hunt rabbits with a survival knife and was often successful. You know when you hear about someone and you instantly want to meet them, but you kind of don't want to meet them. Wild rabbits or do break into pets at home? And Harry would chastise me for the lager content, sorry. Hang on, Keith, are you familiar with Harry from Blue Nose Beer Reviews? See, I thought you'd come over from Jimmy O's channel. See, we're all intertwined. My ultimate goal is to get Seaside Mark onto a stream. That's me to a T, Peter. Well, Martin, I wouldn't change you for the world. Keith Roberts. Now that's thrown me for a loop. That one. You're very welcome, Martin. And you have been severely missed on James's live streams, but completely understand. And hope you, I hope you get into a more positive place as much as you can be. without obviously divulging, because it's not my place. Jesus McGrath says the bloke he assaulted was actually just taking his lad for a whittle. My friend was having an episode as he wasn't taking his medication. Thought the fellow was Dracula and punched him in the face. Oh God. Jesus, that's quite a story. And I feel a bit guilty now saying that I want to put that story to film. God, the human condition. It's quite amazing, isn't it, really? 12 people. I think I've like hit a record for viewers on this channel. Was it Halloween? If so, then fair dues. That's a very good point. Very good point there, Adam. I kind of feel like I just want to drink loads tonight, but I know I can't. And nope. He was just an innocent man who did not resemble Dracula in any form. Do you know what? I'm very lucky at the fact that I've never experienced a random act of violence whilst in the street or when I've been out in Wigan. Peter, you should open the day, but no way. There's no way I can go to sleep after having a beer like that. I know it's low ABV, but it's the fact that hasn't it got like Brettanomyces in it. I can't drink anything like that before I go to bed. How dare you, Adam? You terrible influence, you. I should have actually opened that over the weekend, to be fair. And I do genuinely appreciate that gesture, Adam. Thank you. But no, seriously. Although it is a bit tempting. I might end on a barley wine. I don't know. But then again, I am in the office, so I don't really want to cause a mess in the works toilets. Peter, you have to think, if you had a dozen people listening and reacting to a pub, you're a top man. Well, if a group of people were listening to me in a pub, I think my social anxiety would be through the roof. But I do genuinely appreciate that. Very much so. I just love the fact that people have come over from Jimmy's channel, not just out of courtesy, but they're actually here and enjoying the conversation and enjoying hearing me on a stream. Even though, as Martin will attest to that, when there's quite a few different characters on Jimmy's stream, you sort of just like want to sit back and watch and not really sort of impart a viewpoint because the conversations are very much engaging. Don't forget that you are loved. Well, right back at you, Martin. Very glad to have made your acquaintance, my friend. It's weird, isn't it? I've got a very select few carefully chosen close friends outside of like YouTube and stuff. But I've got to say, I've met some of the best people ever through being on YouTube, because you've got that sort of like exposure to people who, if let's say the internet didn't exist, you wouldn't even know these people existed. And you know, when I was in Liverpool just a couple of weeks ago, I was just surrounded by people who I just fucking love and adore, to be honest. And I'm eternally grateful for that. I really, really am. Adam says, I am still banned from Jimmy O. I'll have a word. I'll have a word, Adam. I think your input would be greatly appreciated. And we've got the lovely Hell21 who says, good evening, Peter. Stopping in before before I sleep to say hello. Well, good evening to you too, Hell21. Thank you for joining me. And passing on her thanks to Martin. And she says, shush, John's here. Oh, shh. But thank you for joining. Hope you're doing well. Hope everyone's doing well, really. I know days like this can be quite rough for a lot of people, but you're in good company. Couple of knobheads as well that weekend. Can't argue. No, it was a great time. Mondays, just any day of the week, really, hell, to be honest. Unless you're just abbreviating Happy Mondays, which I'm a big fan of the Happy Mondays. What the fuck am I talking about? Honestly, Helton, I thought your name was L21. In regards to the Liverpool postcode, L5 alive, choose a life, not a knife. Even though he's turned out to be a bit of a shithouse, hasn't he? Can't believe I've publicly said Darren G's a shithouse on a live stream. Why the name Clueless? You seem to know what you're on about when it comes to the booze. I don't know. I kind of like, I don't know, I just like the name of it, the Clueless Drinker. And I did actually come up with that name before I realised that Conan O'Brien had come up with the name The Clueless Gamer, which is it's a good series, that, because it's Conan O'Brien, although a lot of the time he can be quite an intolerant shit, really. But yeah, I don't know really. Clueless, the Clueless Drinker. It just sounds sort of. Even though you'll find loads of like the Clueless Baker, the Clueless Chef, that sort of stuff. So it's a little bit self-deprecating, but in a humorous way. Well, that's what I thought it would be. I just thought the Clueless Drinker sounds good. Let's see. I would walk into the sea with no internet, says Martin. Sounds slightly poetic, which I'm very much appreciative of. Choose a beer, not a spear. There you go. I like that. Maybe I should get someone like Decker Haggy on the live stream. I'm more of a Cheshire Cat than a Mersey Bear, says Hal. Dave the Raven Scousland says, enjoy your drinks, Mr. Nice Drinker Lad. Well, thank you, sir. Greatly appreciated. Thank you, Elena. Today's been both comforting, weight additional, and good. Such good people. Me and Bullman did ask Jim's granddad, aka Uncle Don, to change the name of his YouTube channel as he was initially very close. Ah, yeah, I remember. I know him. He's a nice guy. I like him. He's commented a lot, but I don't respond to comments because I live in an ivory tower based on false pretenses and ideologies. And Martin says, I've been on the buses. I'm glad to see you're doing okay, Martin, says Hal. There's a lot of caring in these communities, which I'm very much a fan of. Dave the Rave, are you related to Disco Dave, says Mersey Beers. Connection. And for those that are coming over from Jimmy's channel, I'm by no means close to the host that James is. Maybe I'll do live streams where if people want to come on, they can come on. Martin, you've been on other bus for years, babe. And then Martin says, Peter, you're pivotal now. You will make me blush, and that will be very evident when I'm blushing. And you're good at this live malarkey, Peter. I think I'm better than this at actually composing myself in real life situations, which has become a very sad sort of state of affairs, really. Is he related to John the Don from Doncaster? And Disco says who? Look at that. Look at that. As soon as Adam says Disco Dave, someone called Disco joins the stream. Dave the Raven Scout said, no lad, Dave's I know love a disco lad. I do think you and Jimmy should do an Urban Legends documentary series, e.g. Seaside Mark, also Toxic Terry. Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea, that. Me and James travelling the country, meeting up with YouTube's reprobates, Seaside Mark, Machiavelli, Lord J, Pat Mustard, Therapy. Who else could we meet? We could do like sort of like a Vice style documentary, looking at very questionable people on YouTube. They wouldn't let you drive a double decker, Keith Roberts, but you're pervy enough. And Jason Brown says, Sexy Sue from Bridlington. I think we all know a Sexy Sue, don't we? Sexy Sue, but she's always of age. No, that sounds awful. What I mean like an older lady, not of age, like legally of age. Can we move swiftly on? Toxic Terry legitimately drank petrol regularly. Who's Toxic Terry? I've never heard that name before, Adam. James and Peter, roadside cafe experience. I mean, we could do a tour of roadside cafes. I think me and James might be going down London way to see old Peter Boothroyd putting on a live show. Miss Drink, you've seen the drinking film The World's End, lad. Best drinking film. I did really enjoy that. I think out of the trilogy, that Cornetto trilogy they did, Hot Fuzz is my favourite. But I thought The World's End was a really fun film. I do like that. I need to compile a list of my favourite drinking films. Says you, Uncle Marty, fiddled with young Sector and fled them Jesus juice to get them through, I heard. How about Crazy Clive? He wanders the streets wearing white gloves and has an uncanny resemblance to Lionel Blair. Shockingly enough, I can imagine someone like that walking around Ormskirk, to be honest. Putin Boothroyd has a ring to it. It certainly does. Beerfest is awesome. Which one's that? Is that the one where the different countries compete in the like the Downing competition? With Nail and I, what a classic. Funny enough, the only time I ever watched that film was as a child, and I very much need to revisit that. Das Boot. Yeah, that's the one. A lot of the people from that film were in what's that Canadian comedy about the Mounties? I think anyway. Have you ever reviewed Jesus Juice, Peter? Red Win, I mean. Do you know what? I'm not really a wine drinker, because wine drunk Peter becomes the most unlikable, sexist arsehole you will ever meet. And I think Martin is leaving us. So good evening, Martin. Thank you for joining. And very much look forward to speaking to you again on a proper level. Dayhart, what about with my, you terrible cunt? Okay, beat me to it. They are state troopers, not Mounties, but it's called Super Troopers. That's the one. Super Troopers. Ah, no, the Canadian. Yeah, Super Troopers 2 has them, like, meeting the Canadian Mounties. Because, like, Will Sasso is in that film. Yeah. Super Troopers. Gotta say, I'm more a fan of Reno 911. Which I only realised recently, Reno 911, there's been a new film where they have to what's the term I'm looking for? They have to go like undercover on Epstein's boat or something like that. I haven't seen the sequel, but that film team is called Broken Lizard. Yeah, Broken Lizard. I'd love to get you off your scone and wine, then, young Peter. An entertaining night for all. Um, Keith, you do not realise how much of an uncharacteristically annoying prick I become when I'm wine drunk. The worst in recent memory was because we used to have a gazebo in the garden, which was great in summer because you get like summer, you can get like plug-in heaters because we built a bar outside, and it was awesome. It was awesome. But then the slightest of winds destroyed that dream. But there was one night, and there was a girl who used to work with, who was there, and I was probably trying too hard to get with her, and she was just making me drink all sorts. And I had a bowl of MD 2020, the turquoise blue one, and I just drank way too much of that, way too quickly, and it got to the point where people were telling me, Peter, just go to bed because you're being such a massive cunt. Some of the stuff that I was allegedly saying. But anyway, yeah, so you don't want to see me drunk on wine. My worst wine story. Well, have a lovely night, Hell 21. You take care and have a lovely sleep. You misunderstood me being a bit of a Jew. I'm also a wino, says Martin. Nothing wrong with that, sir. Nothing wrong with that at all. But yeah, have a lovely sleep, Hell 21. And yeah, it might start off as an entertaining night, but yeah, you don't want to see Peter drunk on fortified wine because it's not pretty. And in fact, Wigan connection, where the officer, I don't know, is the officers club still in Wigan, or is it like changed name? Is it closed? I can't remember. It was a long time ago. So with a few friends from high school, and we're in college at the time, and we've been drinking before, pre-drinks, because we were basic bitches before basic bitches existed, to be fair. And we went to the officers club, which we always used to go to because it was £1 for a bottle of Stella, which was a really good deal. And one night we thought, do you know what, why don't we all just get a bottle of Blue Nun each? And I was like, yeah, that'd be a good idea. So we drank the Blue Nun, and essentially what happened was, I think I've told this story before, I just walked off and left the group. All I remember is waking up slumped in the doorway of the officers club, and I was like, oh, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning, I just want to get home. I was like checking my pockets, couldn't feel my wallet, couldn't feel my passport because I mean, I still have to use ID now because I look like I'm in my early 20s. As bitter as I am, I do have really good youthful skin. But yeah, so I woke up in the doorway of the officers club in Wigan, with no wallet, no passport. So my logic was, well, I've slumped here. This is the last place I remember going to. Do you know what, I'll just knock on the door because I think the people who owned it like lived above the club anyway. So I opened it, and straight away this very angry looking grumpy man just already had my wallet and my passport in my hand, just like shoved his wrist, like his arm out the door. So I grabbed it and I just walked off. Didn't think anything of it, just got the first bus home. Cut to about 2 weeks later. We're on a night out. I'm thinking, oh, Joe, should we go to the officers' club? It's like, yeah, all right then. Go there. Bouncer says, mate, you can't come in. You can't come in ever again. I was like, all right, what happened? I was like, you don't remember? I was like, no. Why would I be asking if I don't remember? I wasn't being like snotty. I didn't actually say that to him. I was like, no, I don't remember. And he was like, do you want to see the CCTV footage? And as soon as he said that, I was like, no, I don't. But please tell me what I've done. So apparently, because like the people who like owned the club lived right above the club itself. Apparently, what I'd done is I'd walked up the stairs to just outside their door, proceeded to strip naked and fall asleep on the steps. And then, see, the bouncers weren't being dicks about it. They were actually quite jovial about it. They took great pleasure in telling me this story. Apparently, I was just asleep naked on the stairs of the private residence in a nightclub. The bouncers had to redress me and then proceed to kick me out. And I'm worried the fact that there's full CCTV footage of me probably slept spread eagle, stark bollock naked on the stairs of a nightclub. The weird thing was, I gained a very small level of notoriety because when I was like waiting for my mates who was with to like come back out, because the bouncers were like, don't worry mate, you've not offended us, it's just the owner of the place, we found it really funny, don't worry about it. And so they went in, got my mates who were in there, took me out, and they were like, why the bouncers took me out? So I proceeded to explain the situation, very much ashamed at that point, but I look back on it and I think that's really funny as fuck. That's nearly it. Well, that's funnier than having a shitting yourself story. Everyone needs to have a story where they shit themselves. It's just really funny, isn't it? It's horrible at the time, but it's always funny to recount a story where you shit yourself. So it's like up there for me, that. But like so many other places that we went to afterwards, it was like, that's the guy. That's the guy who's like asleep naked on the stairs. It's like, all right, mate, how are you doing? Can I get you a drink? And I was like, huh? So yeah, that's the closest to fame I've ever come to. And that is why I very rarely, when I'm already drinking, touch anything to do with wine. Because I've got too many absolutely horrific stories in regards to wine-related drunken incidents. I think Jumping Jacks is still open. I'm not sure. I've not had a night out in Wigan for ages, really. And I don't really do night outs, to be honest. The last one I had was in Ormskirk, and that just ended up in drama, where I nearly got into a fight. See, I'm the most passive aggressive pacifist you could ever meet, but some knobhead in a takeaway made a joke about Boris Johnson, which I get it. Boris Johnson, Ed Sheeran, thick skin. But it was like the arrogance of this absolute knobhead and his big mouth, goofy bitch of a thought it was his girlfriend, was actually his cousin who's lusting after. And it was just like the arrogance of them. So I started getting a little bit mouthy because I was a little bit drunk. Um, but I thought I was doing it in like a funny sort of way, to be honest. Ended up getting the guy out of guilt buying me chips because I told him to buy me chips. So that's probably the only alpha moment I've had in recent years. But yeah, the last time I was on a proper night out was in Ormskirk, and Ormskirk is a pretty fucking dire, absolute dire night out. Maybe it's because I'm 33 years old and that's just not my thing anymore. But I was just like, who are these? Who are these teenagers walking around? Like, I'm not old by any stretch, obviously, but some of the people you see, I'm like, how fucking old and decrepit do you really want to make me feel? You very attractive, potentially underage girl. That's a joke, by the way. That's a joke. I'm not that way inclined. You should be called the clever drinker. You talk a lot of sense, lad. I think a lot of people would very much disagree with that, Dave, but very much appreciate that. And I would agree, Martin is very much braver, brainier than a brain surgeon. My own brother-in-law loves Vikings and has started drinking mead. Have you tried it? Had an absolutely gorgeous mead when we were meeting up with our mate Harry at his place. And our friend Rory, who was on the piss, had no intention of coming to visit us, but whilst on the piss, decided it'd be a good idea for him to have the extra expense of coming visiting us. He brought this bottle of like American mead that had been brewed with like blackberries and raspberries. Fucking hell, that was the most divine thing I've ever drank in my life. I love mead. I absolutely love mead. Top story, says Disco. I could see that as the opening scene of a film. Look forward to hearing the other stories in due course. Yeah, there are some other wine related stories. They always seem to be the worst. I don't know what it is. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love a really good, like, small amount of port. I love port. Port's always a good drink. Um, but yeah, as soon as I see if I'm like drinking beer during the night, I can't do shots. There's the odd occasion I might end my night on like a gin and tonic or a Captain's Morgan spiced with Coke or something like that. But as soon as I start just the tiniest combination of other drinks, I'm gone. I'm really gone. Um, and one of my drinks of choice as a teenager was like double vodka, double vodka and Red Bull. I used to love that stuff. But the idea of drinking vodka and Red Bull together, two things I find really fucking disgusting. It makes my teeth hurt just thinking about it. Strange. Anyway, folks, I think I've rambled on for long enough. It's approaching, well, slowly approaching 20 past 11. Massive thank you once again, by the way, for people joining this. It started off as a pretty, straight to the point review of a couple of beers, but it just ended up being a nice casual chat. And I hope those who have joined from Jimmy's channel have found this as a suitable alternative. Your presence is always welcomed, and I very much look forward to speaking to you guys again on one of my own live streams, and of course on one of James's live streams. And thank you, Martin. Really, really appreciate it. And I hope it's not too long in the distant future that we see you on camera and get to talk to you, Martin. But of course, I know the importance of making sure both of one's other people. But yeah, Martin, I hope you're doing okay, and very much look forward to speaking to you in a more direct way very soon. Night, mate. Hope you're not from Poland. You're a snob otherwise. No, thank God. No, no, nowhere near. I mean, don't get me wrong. I did go to a Poland high school, but yeah, I was born in Billinge Hospital and then raised in Skelmersdale, even though I don't sound like it. I sound like a very effeminate, uh, borderline homosexual intellectual sometimes, but I don't know why I didn't pick up like a Skem or a mildly Scouse accent, to be honest. I've loved it, Peter. I'll watch more from now on. Oh, thank you, Keith. Thank you, Keith. And don't worry, I'm not one of those snobby bastards from Upholland or Orrell or even Billinge. But yeah, thank you for all joining me. And yeah, I shall hopefully speak to you all soon and see you all soon. And yeah, massive, massive thank you. And a big thank you once again to James for not only getting more people over onto my channel over the recent months, but also donating to the channel. Very much appreciated. Was not intending on making money from this, but it shall be repaid in due course because I think my channel's grown a lot since I've been going back regularly on Jimmy's channel. Mike Martin, take care, bud, and hope you all enjoy your week going forward. And you'll probably see me on James's channel, uh, hopefully as many times as possible this week. See you all later. Take care. Have a lovely evening. And even though you should all be going to bed now, but anyway, I won't judge. See you later. Oh, good night, David.